Hello and thanks for joining us for our mid-morning edition of Arirang News. I'm Mark Broom. Let's kick things off with a look at the day's headlines. Members of the Trump team reaffirm their strong stance against North Korea. US Vice President Mike Pence says the administration will continue to stand up against North Korea's Kim Jong-un. It's day 10 of the PyeongChang Winter Olympics. South Korea is steadily climbing up the medal board, standing in 9th place with 3 gold, 1 silver and 2 bronze. We have our daily rundown of the latest. Plus, a plane crash in a foggy, mountainous region of Iran kills all 65 people on board. Our top story this morning, though, the Trump administration continues to express its tough stance on North Korea. US Vice President Mike Pence has reiterated the policy of maximum pressure, while Secretary of State Rex Tillerson says he's waiting for Pyongyang to reach out for talks. Lee Seung-jae starts us off.
Keeping maximum pressure on North Korea, U.S. Vice President Mike Pence has reiterated that the Trump administration will continue to stand up against North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Addressing the crowd at a Republican fundraiser in Texas on Sunday, Pence said the strongest measures will be put on North Korea, adding that there will be no change in their stance until the North decides to give up its ballistic and nuclear missile programs. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson said in an interview with CBS that he's listening for signs that North Korea is ready to engage in direct talks. Tillerson added that while he's listening, he's not sending a lot of messages back, with nothing to say at this point. With the PyeongChang Winter Olympic Games thawing relations between the South and North Korea, it's been speculated that direct talks between Washington and Pyongyang could be on the horizon after months of tension and heated rhetoric. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
Now, a regional government in Russia is saying that North Korean laborers working in that region can stay until the end of this year. Russian news agency RIA Novosti, citing the governor, said the workers will stay through 2018 as they are needed in the processing of seafood. But the Russian central government has yet to grant permission for the workers to stay. The region of Pacific Primorye is known as the largest workplace for North Koreans in Russia, with some 10,000 North Koreans residing and working there. The Russian ambassador to North Korea recently said his government will repatriate the tens of thousands of North Koreans working in the country in line with some recently announced UN sanctions.
Good morning, I'm Kim Mo-gyun from the News Center with the latest on the PyeongChang Winter Olympic Games. South Korea has just celebrated its Lunar New Year holiday, and over the 4-day break, Korean athletes were able to grab a total of 4 medals, bringing its overall rank to 9th. Now, let me give you a brief rundown on the highlights so far and what to look out for on day 10. Two-time Olympic champion Sang-hwa, aiming for her 3rd consecutive gold medal in the women's 500-meter speed skating event on Sunday, fell just short, winning a silver medal in what may or may not be her final Olympic race. Starting on the outside line with Arirang of Japan in the 15th group, Lee sprinted the first 100 meters in 10.2 seconds, the fastest time among the 16 groups, but slowed after flinching slightly on the last corner and would finish with a final time of 37.33 seconds. Japan's Nao Godaya won gold with a new Olympic record of 36.94 seconds. Despite the silver medal finish, Lee becomes the first Asian speed skater to win a medal at the women's 500-meter event in 3 straight Olympics. South Korea's male speed skating team made it to the semifinals in team pursuit event on Sunday. The 3-man team of Lee Seung-hoon, Chung Jae-won, and Kim Min-seok finished the quarterfinals race at 3 minutes 39.29 seconds, the best finish time among 8 participating countries. The Netherlands, Norway, and New Zealand also made it to the next round. South Korea will race alongside New Zealand later on Wednesday. Many are looking forward to the trio's performance, as Lee Seung-hoon showed an incredible performance at the men's 10,000-meter individual event, as well as Kim Min-seok, who won the 1,500-meter bronze. Looking to win South Korea's second gold medal in the sledding competitions, the two-man bobsleigh duo of Sang-hwa and Won Yun-jong went into their first two heats on Sunday. Despite the high expectations, the two posted 49.5 seconds on their first run to sit in 11th place, but improved their second try after clocking in at 49.39 seconds and are currently in 9th place overall. The two-man bobsleigh event, which consists of 4 heats over 2 consecutive days, will see the South Koreans try to improve their times tonight for a chance at a podium finish. Now let's take a closer look at what's ahead of us on day 10. Tonight, we're looking forward to the quarterfinals for the women's team pursuit in speed skating at 8 p.m. Team Korea will race alongside world number 4 Netherlands, the winner of the women's team pursuit at the Sochi Olympics. Another eye-catching event slated for tonight is the men's 500-meter speed skating event, where 3 South Korean athletes, including former Olympic champion Mo Tae-bom, will compete. And the final 2 heats for the men's two-man bobsleigh will take place, including Heat 4, set to be held at 10 p.m. tonight. South Korean duo of Sang-hwa and Won Yun-jong will hope to grab a medal. Now let's wrap up by taking a look at the current medal standings. We will have more updates for you throughout the day, so stay tuned. I'll see you guys again in our next newscast.
Now, staying with the PyeongChang Olympics and outside of the snow and ice events, there's another thing happening on the sidelines of the Games, that is pin trading, and they are serious about what they do. Die-hard traders scattered around the Olympic venues may not speak the same language, but they can all say the word pin. Lee Ji-won with more.
A massive crowd has gathered at a square in the Gangneung Olympic Park. It might look like they've come to see a medal race on the street, but in fact they're here to trade pins. Pin trading is one of the unique traditions that's developed over the years at the Olympic Games. Anyone with a pin can go up to a trader or anyone else with a pin they like and ask if they want to trade.
Hello. I want to change this badge to this.
Yes, that's from Vancouver 2010, and it's a hockey pin. Are you interested?
Okay, of course.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good trip. Thank you.
I traded my Korean flag badge with a pin from the Sochi Olympics. I'm trying to collect pins with the Olympic rings to commemorate the event.
Traders from all across the globe have been building their collections for years, and they have a keen eye for what visitors are offering. Though rare pins are much coveted, a pin that represents the ongoing Olympics and the host country is also greatly valued. And pin traders say that through trading, they can feel the Olympic spirit.
For the last 15 games, I've been actively pin trading and promoting the idea of fellowship through this kind of activity between the different venues. And everybody's just very excited that young girls come up and they're screaming and hollering. They see, so that's what warms my heart.
Many Olympic sponsors have also joined in the pin trading culture by giving out pins through various events. And starting with the 1988 Calgary Olympics, Coca-Cola has been setting up an official pin trading center.
People line up to learn more about the history of pin trading and enjoy the excitement themselves. And while this culture wasn't big in Korea before, it has quickly gained a lot of popularity among locals as well.
I didn't know much about pin trading before, but it seems like a nice way to remember the moment. It feels like a treasure hunt.
Pins have been available since the first modern Olympics in Athens to distinguish athletes, referees, and spectators, but they've now become a tradition that brings people from different countries and groups together to share not just the Olympic history, but the spirit as well. Lee Ji-won, Arirang News, Gangneung.
And here's a tip for you if you're in Pyeongchang for the Olympics. In between the various games, you could take a tour around the alpine town and even the surrounding Gangwon-do province, giving you some unforgettable memories of the alpine region. Won Jung-hwan reports.
After watching a sporting event at Gangneung Ice Arena, a family are on an unforgettable journey by taxi to their next destination. They're taking part in a program set up for Pyeongchang 2018 by the Korea Tourism Organization, which arranged for more than 200 taxis to give private tours of Gangwon-do province during the Olympic and Paralympic Games.
The service was introduced at the start of the Winter Olympics to show people the ins and outs of Gangwon-do province. We'll do our best to provide a comfortable stay for every visitor.
Even it's your first time in the area, with this program you won't need to worry about the fare or where to go, since you'll be on an exclusive tour with a local driver for a set fare. During the Winter Games, visitors who have purchased tickets to any winter sporting event can apply and enjoy a tour around the host province, taking in the region's natural scenery, traditions, and culture. The taxi tour service gets you 8 hours within a distance of 100 kilometers. This family has signed up for 2 consecutive days while they're in Gangneung, and they say they find it very convenient.
Before we came, we were concerned about the traffic and where to go in Gangneung, but our taxi driver has given us some great information, so it was very convenient for us to get around the Olympic city.
For less than $20, those of you with tickets for an Olympic or Paralympics event can not only tour Gangwon-do province, but also see some often hidden gems in the area. Won Jung-hwan, Arirang News, Gangneung.
Now, in other news, the U.S. Department of Commerce is urging the Trump administration to impose heavy tariffs on foreign producers of steel and aluminium in the name of national security, though America may end up targeting its close ally, South Korea. In the report, the Commerce Department said one of the options being considered is a tariff of 53% on steel from 12 countries. They include China and Brazil and Korea, but not other traditional U.S. allies like Germany, Japan or Canada, even though Canada is the #1 exporter of steel to the U.S. An official at South Korea's Trade Ministry said what the list is actually targeting is countries that import Chinese steel and thereby support China's cheap steel exports. Korea has witnessed a sharp increase in public faith in its institutions across government, media, businesses and NGOs. In particular, the 2018 Edelman Trust Barometer reveals trust in the government rose a lot over the past year, rising 17 percentage points to 45%. The survey offers an annual snapshot of the country's trust in its 4 main institutions. Korea ranked 12th out of the 28 countries in terms of government trust, with Canada, Hong Kong and Sweden ranking higher than South Korea. Trust in businesses increased by 7 percentage points to 36%, but it's still the lowest among the surveyed countries alongside Hong Kong. The Korean public's faith in the media remained at the same level as last year at 40%. Go Jin-young has added her name to the long list of incredibly talented Korean players on the LPGA Tour. Go fended off a determined challenge from another Korean golfer to win the Women's Australian Open and capture a piece of tour history. Park So-yeon reports.
22-year-old Go Jin-young made history on Sunday in Australia, becoming the first player in 67 years to win her debut LPGA tournament. Beverly Hansen was the only other player to do it in 1951 at the Eastern Open. Ko held her nerve shooting a 3 under 69 in the final round at the Kuyonga Golf Club in Adelaide. Ko fired a total 14 under 274 at the ISPS Handa Women's Australian Open, beating fellow South Korean Choi Hae-jin by 3 strokes. Ko was guaranteed LPGA privileges after she won the LPGA KEB Hana Bank Championship last October. When asked about her goals for the season, Ko says she hopes to earn Rookie of the Year honors. She's already a star in South Korea, having won 10 times on the Korean LPGA Tour with a rank of 20, and she's posed to shoot up the list when the newest world rankings are released. Ko's victory down under gives her a strong head start in the race for the Rookie of the Year, the last 3 of whom have all been South Koreans. Park So-yeon, Arirang News.
Now for a look at stories making headlines around the world, and we're going to start in Iran. A passenger plane crash in the central part of the country is feared to have killed all 65 people on board. For more on this and other news, let's turn to our Noah Adam. So Adam, bad weather is being blamed for the crash. What else do we know so far?
Well, Mark, the ATR aircraft was heading from Tehran to the southwestern city of Yasuj on Sunday morning local time. It then disappeared from radar about 50 minutes after takeoff amid foggy and snowy conditions and was reported to have crashed in a mountainous area. The initial death toll given by authorities was 66, but this was later revised to 65 as one of the passengers was reported to have missed the flight. That means all 59 passengers as well as 6 crew members were killed. Dozens of rescuers are trying to reach the probable crash site, but a snowstorm that is sweeping the area is making it difficult for them to access it. Thick fog is also preventing helicopters from searching the area. Iran has suffered several plane crashes in the past few decades, mostly due to old planes. The 25-year-old aircraft was part of this aging fleet, which Iran had been unable to update due to decades of international sanctions over its nuclear program. But a 2015 deal with world powers to lift some of those sanctions has opened the way for Iranian airlines to sign deals for new aircraft. Meanwhile, Iran's leadership issued messages of condolences, as did a few other global leaders. Among them was Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who just moments before his sympathetic tone warned Tehran not to test his country's resolve. His comments at the Munich Security Conference were dismissed by Iran's foreign minister as a cartoonish circus, adding another layer to tensions between the two countries over Iran's military support in Syria. British Prime Minister Theresa May has called for a new security treaty with the European Union from 2019, the year Britain leaves the bloc. She made the plea to Western leaders at the Munich Security Conference, promising that the UK would remain committed to Europe's security after Brexit. She also warned that political and institutional interests should not get in the way of cooperation against crime and terrorism. While welcoming the idea, President of the European Commission, Jean-Claude Juncker, said security should not be conflated with other unresolved Brexit issues. Students who survived last week's mass shooting at their school in Florida have announced they will march on Washington to demand political action on gun control. The so-called March for Our Lives will take place on March 24th, with sister marches planned across the country. Survivors have vowed to make last Wednesday's shooting a turning point in the national gun debate. The rampage left 17 students and staff members dead. Former Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva does not seem to be fazed by corruption charges levied against him as he prepares to tour the country. He will kick off the 4th stage of his so-called Caravan of Hope next Tuesday in Brazil's southern states until March 7th to whip up support for his presidential bid. Lula insists he's innocent and also has his party's backing for the presidency despite a possible ban from running in the October election. He is accused of taking bribes from a construction company in exchange for government favours, along with other corruption allegations.
Pyeongchang in Gangwon-do Province is host city of the Winter Olympic Games. Prior to the international event, the city organized the PyeongChang Trout Festival to make the winter truly unforgettable. Let's take a glimpse of the festival to enjoy the seasonal beauty. Pyeongchang is one of the coldest and snowiest areas in Korea. Because of the cold weather, all the rivers freeze to a thickness of up to 30 centimeters or 12 inches every winter. The Trout Festival takes place on a 25,000 square meter frozen part of Odechon Stream in the city.
This festival provides many fun winter activities, including open ice fishing, tent fishing, and bare hand fishing, which is the most popular activity that takes place twice a day. It also has various programs for children, so the entire family can enjoy quality time.
Offering the unusual experience of ice fishing, this festival draws over 50,000 visitors from all across the country every year. The first step to catching trout is to make a hole in the ice. Then drop a baited line below the ice hole. There are some special tips for trout fishing.
Fishing requires patience. While waiting, we have to jerk the bait to give the fish the impression that it's alive. That way, everyone can catch trout.
Fishing is all about waiting and more waiting. The anglers are waiting for their trout in all different ways.
I'm lying down here to see trout swimming through the hole. It's very interesting.
After gently holding the rod in the cold weather for a while, they get trout they've long been anticipating. Trout are cold water fish that live only in the cleanest water with a translucent quality. Since trout fishing is relatively easy, children can also enjoy fishing.
It's a cool experience to come out here and enjoy something that I really don't get to do anywhere else, so I think it's pretty cool.
I'm really excited to be here. I'm excited to catch some fish and participate in the Korean culture.
The whole family can engage in this ultimate winter festival, making treasured memories together.
I'd like to catch as many trout as possible, but I'm happy regardless as my children are having fun here.
Because I get to bring my daughters with me and my father, so we make this into a family event, so I think it's a lot of fun.
The festival organizers stock the stream with trout every 20 to 30 minutes to enable the visitors to catch as many trout as possible.
We release about 4 tons of trout every day, which is about 14,000 to 15,000 fish.
Pyeongchang is the first city in Korea to develop trout farming back in 1965, and now it's the biggest producer of the fish in the country. The trout at the festival were also raised in Pyeongchang. Fishing is not the only way to catch trout at this festival. Visitors can also get them with bare hands through the noodling event. To participate in the event, visitors have to wear shorts and t-shirts in the sub-zero weather. Then they have to go into the icy water to catch trout barehanded. The key secret is to corner the fish and quickly grab it.
Oh, my toes are really cold. I can eat as many trout as I want here. I came after many failed attempts at fishing.
The real highlight of the festival is eating the freshly caught trout on site, either raw or grilled.
Cheers!
How does it taste?
Actually get to catch the fish and watch it go through the cycles. And once it's in your belly, it's nice and full, it's fresh, it's delicious, and it's here.
I've eaten trout both raw and grilled, but I personally prefer it grilled. The only thing missing is some alcohol.
The festival offers all different kinds of winter activities. The clean and vast snowfield in Pyeongchang is a wonderful playground for both children and adults. From snow sledding to snow rafting, it's full of fun activities for families to enjoy quality time.
I'm happy about the variety of activities the festival offers. I'll definitely like to come here again next year. My children had a good time too.
So I think this festival is very interesting. We didn't catch any fish, we tried, but it was a good time anyway.
The Pyeongchang Trout Festival is set to take place until the end of February throughout the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. Pyeongchang is a beautiful and exciting city, offering fun-filled activities for the entire family. Don't miss the Pyeongchang Trout Festival and make the most of this cold season.
Good morning. We are having noticeably milder morning. In fact, both lows and highs will be a few notches higher than yesterday, even hovering way above the seasonal averages. However, the air remains quite dry with dry weather alerts in place in many regions, while Seoul is under warning. Humidity levels could go down to as low as 25% during the day, so drink plenty of water. And taking a closer look at today's temperature readings, Seoul will get up to 7 degrees Celsius, while Daegu and Gwangju will get up to 11 degrees this afternoon under partly sunny skies. Daily lows will remain below the freezing for the time being, while the highs will be near or above the seasonal averages. Just beware of big gaps in temperatures between lows and highs and dress accordingly. Pyeongchang is under a dry weather alert as well, while daily highs will rise much higher than the past few days. That's Korea for you, and here's the international weather for viewers around the world.
Well, that's where we're going to have to leave it for now. Our next bulletin is coming up at noon Korea time, so until then, goodbye.
현재 대한민국 평창에서 세계인이 하나가 되는 대축제가 열리고 있다고 하는데요. 바로 2018 평창